says having trouble connecting. Please check your internet.
No, it says live.
I got live.
Yep, we've already at 11 seconds into live.
Where'd Craig go? He just bailed.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Book of Boba. We have no Craig. I'm the host now. I'm the captain now.
Are we live?
So this used to be called the Book of Craig, but we don't want to watch Craig anymore. So now we've got our Mandalorian Troy here.
Stop it. Everybody stop talking. Okay. We're not doing this again without our cool theme song. So we might be live right now. I don't know what happened.
I'm so glad 100%. I didn't say some of the things that I was
I hope everybody's having a good night. Welcome to the show. Let's start it off with a bang. Here we go.
I am Boba Fett. Left for dead on the sands of Tatooine. Till I rule with fear. I intend to rule with respect.
Okay, there we go. Hi, everybody.
Hey.
We're back.
Welcome to the Mod Parlor.
No.
Oh my gosh. Hi, everybody. You go 5 weeks without any major technical breakdowns, and then life happens. Last week was insane, and I don't know what happened. I clicked live, and my computer said, "You can't go live," and everybody else went live except for me. I don't know what happened.
Well, you know what? When they opened Disneyland, nothing worked.
That's what this is.
Wanda is fixing to kill somebody.
Welcome everybody to Boba Book Club, the season series finale of Boba Book Club. You know, we only got one season. Who knows if Book of Boba will ever come back? I'm sure we're going to talk about it today. Let's go ahead and talk to everybody that we got with us tonight. By the way, the chat's already bumping. Hi, chat. Abby's monitoring the chat this evening.
We are. I am showing off all the comments. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for hanging out. And Craig, sorry about the internet.
That's fine.
I'm glad that it's working now. I'm glad that everybody's here. I'm excited to talk about this episode. I'm sad that this is our last time gathering together, but
yes. Hopefully not ever, because we're only a couple months away.
We do this a lot.
We do this a lot.
We'll be okay.
So I made friendship bracelets for everyone.
There you go.
I love mine. Yeah. Mine hang on my Proton pack.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Nice.
Joining us tonight, as always, from, let's see, not Malibu, not Hollywood, from the San Fernando Valley.
Okay.
From the sands of Death Valley.
Yes. From the sands of the Malibu Beach Club. Mr. Troy Benjamin. Troy, how are you doing, man?
I don't like sand.
I just hate sand. Yeah, Abby beat me to it. But hey, hi guys.
Got in there.
I can't believe this is the end. I can't believe we've come to the end.
We've come so far.
Mercifully?
We've learned so much. Troy, thank you for being with us. You're a busy guy. You're making time every week for the people. And later on, we'll talk about all your books and we'll get all the plugs out, because people need to know how to support our hosts and the things that they do. Because believe it or not, it's not just this.
We'll talk about the things we think you're doing, and then we'll see if you react.
Nope.
Ryan. Beep.
Ryan, you're about to go.
Craig's got his finger on the button.
Go to the back to take.
Ryan's being Grogu in the back, just tapping.
Check your internet. Check your internet connection there.
Ryan Dole, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing great. It's Friday. Hal, I don't know. I'm actually surprised you were able to tell the difference between who was me and who was Hal.
Well, you talk first.
I still can't.
That's true. That's so I'm clearly the Dale.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Such a Dale.
Such a Dale.
Such a Dale.
Ryan, how's your week in Star Wars going?
It's going great. I love Star Wars. I always win when there's Star Wars.
Oh, I like that. That's a good take.
That's
Good way to
very
look at it.
optimistic. I like that.
Yeah,
That's
someone
cute.
has to be.
Yeah.
1 out of 6 ain't bad.
I love that. Hey, listen.
Maybe.
We're gonna have fun. By the way, the Jeffries, get the plugs out. Tuesday night, live on YouTube. Join YHS for the 2nd annual Jeffrey Toy Awards. Let me tell you what, it's going to be a lot of fun. I hope everybody joins us Tuesday. But let's go ahead and get to Jacob Walsh. Jake,
Hi.
live in the toy room.
Hashtag get the plugs out.
Get the plugs out.
Look
I'm
at
not
Plug it
doing
up.
plug.
We're not
it
doing
is.
plugs. Start saying Monster Island things. No, Jake, how's your week in Star Wars going?
You know what? My week in Star Wars has been kind of like a microcosm for life.
Oh,
Little
Okay.
underwhelming, little disappointing, a little
Okay.
confusing,
taking forever.
but also moments of genuine happiness and
Right.
excitement, but also of sadness
Okay.
and pain.
Okay.
And I'm ready to talk about it.
Cool.
Yes.
That all sounds good.
I will never be satisfied.
Abigail.
I just wanted to say that I just was kind of bummed out, honestly, by the finale.
How was your week in Star Wars?
My week?
We're not giving opinions yet.
Sorry. I was just thinking about it. I watched this episode 3 times. I got up early this morning and I watched some Rebels with Dunkin' Donuts that I went out and got. It was nice. I'm very, very sad that this show's over, but I'm happy to be talking about it.
Jason Grohowski asked me if I have my own Sting, but that is not Sting. That's the other
Narsil.
one. No, some
Glam
other
drink?
kind of sword.
Lamb drink.
Glam
Lamb
drink.
drink.
Lamb drink.
Mhm.
It's in the mint in box. Gonna be auctioned off
It's just
later.
never opened it.
You have to start collecting horses
Wait.
if you're a real Lord of the Rings fan.
Joseph May's got multiple deliveries from Tony Taylor / Crypt Creepers. So my week was A-okay. Love that. And that's gotta be Kane from Ray Cameron. Joining us again. Thank you so much, Mr. Hal Clay. The chip to Ryan's Dale. I'm gonna say the calming presence to Yes Have Some podcast. When Jake, Craig, and Abigail get together, you got to inject some Hal in there because he keeps the peace.
Soothing.
He keeps the there's just something about this guy that
I
keeps
just ride in
everything.
the back seat.
It just rides in the back seat, takes a nap, gets the pizza. He's the
Mhm.
best. Hal Clay, thank you for joining us, man.
Thanks for having me back.
Hal joined us last week. We did some toy hunting before the
Oh, yeah, there
Jeffries.
you go.
That was fun. And you can see the fruits of our labor in the toy hunt that will be included as part of the Jeffries this year. So Hal, I'll ask you as well. How is your week in Star Wars going?
I've been busy.
what have you been doing?
I made Grogu's chainmail shirt.
Okay.
A little chainmail shirt for Grogu.
Okay. You're
My
cutting out a
Grogu.
little bit. Oh,
Oh, sorry.
Is that a sideshow Grogu or is
This
that
is
the Hot
Toys.
Gotcha.
And then I got Yoda's lightsaber showed up.
Oh man, you're doing a lot better than us.
So
You're
you
still on
didn't make
last-
and choose, is what you're saying.
I choose both.
Hal has both. Well, thank you, Hal. Let's go ahead and get into this. So, what's the name of this episode? Episode 7.
Honor.
Oh.
Or honor.
Cool. A lot of Star Wars.
Doesn't matter.
Directed by Robert Rodriguez.
Who should never be allowed to direct another.
Jeez. Okay,
Wow.
we're just
That's
Oh,
going in
man.
hard.
All
Okay.
right. So let's go ahead and round table it. Let's go ahead and do it. How many credits, Troy? Let's bring it back. How many credits?
Whoa.
Oh,
Not-
we're bringing back the credits.
Well, here's the thing.
Credits never left.
We got to talk
Yeah.
about this episode as a standalone, and of course, tonight we're going to get into how we feel about the season as a whole and the
Sure.
the full platter of Boba Fett that we've been offered.
Mhm.
But Troy, just sticking to now for this episode, what'd you think?
I think that the bones were there for a 10 out of 10 credits. I think that it was there, it was teed up, and it could have been a 10 out of 10, but I think this was more like a 6 out of 10. And it was sort of the reasoning that I had for not really liking up until episode 4. I mean, I'm not even not really liking, but just sort of like not being as enthusiastic about things. And then we get 5 and 6, and I'm like 10. Those are both 10s. And then we kind of reverted back to where we were. So it's kind of that letdown of going back to I liked it, but peaks and valleys.
I'm so conflicted. I'm so conflicted, but I'll get to my opinions. Ryan?
I'm giving this 8 out of 10 because there was so much cool shit in it that it's hard for me to just completely shit on it. Plus, I'm also very gracious with my credits. I'm like the Madame Garza of Star Wars reviews. I just fill the helmet up with credits every time. So, but you know what I mean, right? Like it's just like just like what Troy said too. It was like they had this perfect buildup. All the pieces were there, but there's just I have a couple nitpicks. I know the internet's got like tons of nitpicks of things. I'm just like, is that worth nitpicking?
That doesn't sound like
but there are some things that I'm just like, okay. But I mean, but then there's cool shit. So I mean, like, it's an abusive relationship. A little
Tony
bit.
Taylor.
Yes.
This episode was like the part of the roller coaster where you take off your seatbelt and get off.
Oh my god.
You know,
you're right. Like that's
I'll chime in a little bit and I'll go to Jake. To me, I agree. There was some really cool stuff, the kind of stuff you've wanted to see in Star Wars your whole life within the context of this episode. In some ways, they built up to this battle, but this felt more like an epilogue because we saw the battle. The battle kind of felt pretty small scale, right? Low stakes, small scale. One thing I'll tell you, after years of people saying Boba Fett doesn't do much, or I love Boba Fett, or he's my favorite, or he's not my favorite. Here's what I've come to the conclusion. I want to see Boba Fett flying around and shooting things. That's my favorite version of Boba Fett.
That was pretty cool.
Boba Fett walking around town with his veneers, just smiling at the townspeople. There's something weird going on in Book of Boba Fett. We're gonna get to the bottom of it tonight. Jake, what were your thoughts about this episode?
If I got to rank it, if I got to give it credits out of 10, I'm gonna say maybe a 5.
Okay.
I've literally been saying on this show since the first episode that an army of fish people is not menacing. It's low stakes. Nobody's getting taken out by a faceless army of 3 foot tall fish. It's not happening. So most of the ending to me just felt like filler, and it's a really, really bold move to put Luke training Grogu, Ahsoka, that awesome Cobb Vanth stuff, introducing Cad Bane, all of that shit in the episode before in one of the best episodes of Star Wars, anything that we've gotten, and then just follow it up with what we got. Rancor was amazing, and it was my favorite part. But other than that, it was just kind of boring to me.
Right. Okay. Abigail?
Yeah, I think something about this episode felt a little bit more like low budget. I don't know if it was because of it felt like the sets were like pretty tight and there wasn't a lot of like jumping around to locations around the town.
Felt like Xena.
That's what I was thinking. The very end felt very much, and it reminds me of there's a couple episodes of Star
Trek.
I
wish Xena was in this.
Yeah. Like
that would be cool.
There were some lines, and some moments that felt like low budget sci-fi, like old Sci-Fi Channel stuff, which I'm not going to say I didn't like any of that, but I do have frustrations with the show overall. I feel like there were a lot of cool characters that were introduced and either killed off quickly or just completely like forgotten, or it just left a little bit loose. Like, what about the Tusken? What about our dream Tusken girl? And what about like all of them? It was sort of a frustrating thing to not take our time the way that maybe we've been set up with Mando being like the slow layering of like Mando not wanting to be a dad and then begrudgingly like falling in love with Grogu and like then having to give him up. That trajectory and that whole story had weight. It felt connected and cohesive and cogent. And this season felt like it had, like if it was a meal, there were like some really delicious, powerful notes. And then just some like thoughtless salad thrown in there.
Some frozen peas.
Yeah, that's sort of how it felt for me personally.
Hal, how about yourself? What did you think of this episode?
After the last two outstanding episodes, this is probably my fourth favorite one. But it's basically a remake of Rio Bravo, the old John Wayne movie, where they hole up in a building, people attack them, and they have to fight their way out with droids.
Yeah.
And
it
a
was
little bit
kind
of
a
Bush
letdown.
and Sundance. Sorry, Hal.
Yeah. I mean, the jetpacks, fucking awesome. But
Yeah.
the townspeople, totally, they showed up and they...
Freetown. Freetown's
fuck
here.
off.
Yeah, all 15 of them showed
Medium
up. Wow.
speed. Let's
And they
keep
still somehow fight. Like, hey, shut up, city girl. Whatever, farm girl.
Let
And
me
then
get to the high ground and shoot once.
let's go be best friends and shoot from the roof.
Hey,
I
by the
thought they were
way,
gonna make out.
so okay. I've got to the point, by the way, with the internet where I read stuff and don't even care to check if it's real or completely made up.
Oh no.
So I read yesterday that what's the girl on SNL? Was this true or is this fake?
Oh, the Heidi
yeah,
Gardner
Chloe-
thing.
Chloe-
not
Chloe Feynman.
Chloe Feynman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I read that Chloe Feynman, who by the way is awesome
I
on
love
SNL,
her. Yeah.
has been cast as a young Pelimoto for Kenobi. I just went, cool, make that real because that sounds cool. It's all gonna be on Tatooine. It's
More
probably
Pelimoto for me.
Yes,
Ryan
Pelimoto
Joel
was
wins.
the best part of this
With
entire
Jawas.
series.
In fact, give me a young Pelimoto Jawa, something akin to like
Stop.
Boogie,
Jawa
Boogie
Nights.
Nights or something.
Stop.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jawa
dude, I
Nights.
want Major
Yeah.
Domo the college years. Him partying up in Coruscant,
Absolutely.
joining a fraternity.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean he's better than you all.
Here's the thing. I want to start some right, exactly. Or yeah, he's like, what does he say? I was not a wealthy man by any means. I want to say a couple things because I want to start off with some positives. Things I liked in this episode. The Rancor. Awesome. The CG looked amazing. Rancor, Boba Fett on it, tearing up the town, fighting those extra large droids from Phantom Menace. The roll droids or whatever. It was awesome. The visuals were great. Kind of weird that they introduced this Rancor as a calf 4 or 5 episodes ago, and he said, "I'm going to ride that Rancor one day," and that we never saw it again until he rode the Rancor. That's a red flag that there's something weird going on with production here. We've talked about it, whether it's COVID, there are rumors out there that Disney was not happy with the direction that Robert Rodriguez was taking it. I don't know. Who
That's
knows?
the rumor every time people don't like something.
Yeah, I know.
Kathleen Kennedy fired. Rodriguez fired over Kathleen Kennedy's mistakes in the last episode of Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, sure. I'm not buying into that, but we're gonna get into it. There's some weird stuff.
There's got to be stuff going on. Yeah.
But love the Rancor. I thought Pelimoto was great in this episode. Her on that rickshaw going through town with Grogu and
her pit droids that are all like
Yes.
been holding their knees and
Yes.
thought that stuff was good. All the stuff.
I can't believe they actually copied John Yerkaba's picture where they're like doing the real Ghostbusters Ecto 1 thing where it's like there's Mando on the side of it and there's Grogu on the other side, and I was like, oh man, John Yerkaba's gonna be pissed.
I cannot believe that they ripped off John Yerkaba, or maybe John ripped off them. I don't know. Kevin says if Craig doesn't do that fancy mod spin to show off when he pulls a Ewan McGregor autograph, I'll be disappointed. Jake was the first person. I think Jake paused the show when the mod did his spin move, went outside and screamed from the rooftop. Why did he do that? But
if you're upset with pointless spinning in Star Wars, never watch Episode 3.
No, it's different. It's different though. Like when you're in the middle of a battle and there's 3 people, all these guns aimed at you, and you're standing. There's no use for that spin,
and it was edited in.
Time that causes you to get shot. That was the dumbest thing in the episode.
That's okay. The Wookiee was there to take all the shots.
Yeah, he had his
and
bandana
then
to
run.
absorb all the shots.
Yeah. See?
Hey, Chris Santan is the biggest waste of a cool Star Wars character since Boba Fett.
Mhm.
Ooh, okay, interesting.
They did
interesting.
him so not fair, honestly. Like,
Yeah,
especially
Yeah, they
in
did
this
him dirty.
Yeah.
Troy. I
But
wanted,
that's a pattern in Star Wars.
Yeah.
I wanted to go to you on this one, Troy. We talked last week about how you were it was either last week or the week before, like how you were expecting a slow motion, Godfather style, like kind of like everybody turning on each other, and we kind of got that this week, where the different sectors were like they turned on the Vespa people, and they turned on Chrysanthemum and all that, but there was something weird about the way it was executed. Like I'm not a director. I know when things feel off. There's something that felt off about the pacing of this episode, the blocking of this episode. Troy, walk me through it. What's going on?
It felt flat, right? Like when that turn happened, when all of the different districts start turning on the two people that they sent to, that was the other thing. It's like you sent Chrysanthemum to lock down the spaceport. You sent 2 Gamorrean guards to lock down the tracks.
Yeah.
Oh wait, did they die?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, they went over the cliff.
Memoriam.
After
They
they
did
only-
published, they can fight.
The only good guys in the episode to die are the 2 fucking Gamorrean
the
guards that nobody
poor
cares
One of the
about.
mods got taken out.
Yeah, but it
Right,
also it felt so like Fennec Shand and Boba Fett were not expecting a double cross. They're like, don't worry, Tatooine Debbie Gibson can take care of everything all by herself. Just send her into the town.
Cherry bomb.
Oh,
Well,
and
I
they
like-
put Chrysanthemum in the district where all the people who are racist against Wookiees
Yes.
just
What
happen
was
to be.
that?
Hey, also they made sure to put Chrysanthemum where nobody's got guns, because if they all of the I forget the race that he's fighting, but they
Traditions.
all pull out knives, and it's like, well, of course they can't have the guns because it's one Wookiee against a bunch of guns. And
They're saving him.
I also love that they also made sure we were prepared for the double cross, because they had to put in the little like what happened last week on Boba Fett, basically they had to make sure they put that like 30 seconds of like, you guys are on my side, right? And everybody's like, sure. And I'm like, okay, you're showing us
Here it
that
comes.
because so we know that they're all not on his side. Come on.
Right. There was some interesting stuff going on, and I think that while people really like the Tatooine Debbie Gibson, I like good stuff
Yeah.
there.
I think I'm a mod now.
That's Tiffany. That's
Oh, that's
Tiffany.
Tiffany.
Yeah.
No, that's Weird Al. I think I'm a clone now.
But
That's
so,
episode 2.
Craig, going back to the pacing thing, not to go. I like the Debbie Gibson.
You're
I-
good. No, you're
love
good.
it.
There's one shot that my buddy Jason and I were talking about, and it's the scene where Boba gives his terms to the major domo on the tablet. He's like, you grab that tablet and I'm gonna do this. And they take the time to like hold on this wide shot and wait for Boba Fett, poor Tamora Morrison, who can't see out of his helmet, to walk down the steps to the major domo. And you're like, can we cut to a close up? Can we
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
That was Rodriguez being like, we're gonna show him he can fucking walk down steps.
Anyone else notice the Black Series helmet at the end?
Oh yeah. What?
Until you pointed it out.
When he's walking down the street carrying it, you can see through the T-visor, and the Black Series had that little cross piece at the bottom of the helmets to hold to keep them from flexing, and you can see that little piece in there.
Cool.
Cool.
So it's canon now.
Canon. Go to your local GameStop and pick up your Boba Fett canon helmet.
While you're there, pick up some Spirit ghost traps, and you're just gonna be a prop collector. You're good to go. You're gonna have your own show on Disney Plus in no time.
Can't get worse.
All of
Man,
the
we have
action.
hit the cynical button.
I know. All of the action in this episode. I'm trying to take it back.
I like when the episodes aren't our favorite, because that's when we get the best discussions out of it.
I can't. I'm dying. Oh my god. Oh yeah. AJ Quick wants everybody to buy shares of GameStop while you're at it.
To the moon.
So taking this all back, the Mando stuff was pretty cool. Grogu is awesome. Grogu force taming an angry Rancor and then taking a little nap next to him.
Adorable.
It's adorable. It's cute. You can't like Grogu is the gold. He's the golden Grogu ticket right now. Like putting him on screen is like nobody has a problem with it. It's just you just like it. You like the story that's being told with him and Din Djarin. I think it's good stuff. There's something weird that happened in this show.
Why did the Rancor all of a sudden become an enemy at the end of the episode? Like,
Well, I just
Because his buddy
He got shot
Boba
by
wasn't
the
there.
Scorpion X droid.
okay.
okay. Here's the thing. Let's go all the way back to the first couple episodes of this show. Those first 2 episodes of Boba Fett, that's a different show than what we got.
Yeah.
You don't like when you have a narrative that is flashbacks, you don't just drop that and then go for like it doesn't make sense. Like the narrative in the first couple episodes telling the story of what happened with him and the Tuskens was really
It was
powerful.
compelling. Yeah, it was very compelling. Yeah.
It was
Mhm.
powerful. I have a feeling that a lot of this was condensed. Like I have a feeling like they had full episodes that were just in the flashback time.
Craig, can I
Really-
bring up one of my nitpicks? Because
Yeah,
this
no, go
goes
for
into
it.
what you were saying. Because it's like they made a big deal about all these flashbacks. Then they stopped doing flashbacks. So I thought this is where they're going to connect the two. And I honestly thought that Dreamgirl Tusken was going to pull a Gandalf, show up at the sunset with a bunch of other Tusken Raiders.
Yeah.
And they were
Yeah.
just going to like team because they know who the people
Yeah.
of Freetown are. They, all this stuff. So like, I thought for sure she was going to just show up and lead this charge of Tuskens and just start annihilating fish people and droids.
Yeah, Ryan.
Yeah.
I mean, they made such a point of Boba going, "You are one people. You should not be different tribes wandering the Dune Sea. You are two." And there was no payoff. I was expecting the
None.
exact same thing. I was like, they're going to be
Yep.
backed into a corner, and then all of a sudden, over the horizon, here come the Tuskens, and you that would've
Banthas and
been-
Dewbacks and Rontos and
Yeah.
I mean, they made a point. They made a point in those first couple episodes to show how different of a Tusken she was than the rest of them. And like in that train episode, when she just jumps in the train, she is taking out people in like a professional assassin kind of way. They made a point to show that. But then whenever all the Tuskens are dead, they also make a point to not show her body there. And I mean, I would have thought it was a sure bet for her to come back at some point and just
it wasn't even just a sure bet. I think it's something that we can all agree and say that's what we were hoping we were going to get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Abigail, you made some sort of list.
Just of everyone that we had to say goodbye to on the show after
Seven
Is this like
episodes.
romper room at the end with the magic
Yeah.
mirror?
Yeah, I mean, some of them forever. We had to say goodbye to Madame Garza, obviously. The two cool looking Twi'leks that are inside of her palace, they're gone.
Yep.
See ya. Cad Bane, real fast.
Let's
Honestly,
talk about
Not
We sh-
necessarily.
You don't think so? All right,
Nope.
we should talk about it.
let's talk
Because
about
that was like a
Can he
quick
survive a
His-
stabbing through the fucking
through the heart
heart?
by a the gas.
Yeah.
Who says his heart's right there?
Yeah,
Come
well,
on.
but he's
Wait.
heavily modified in the Clone Wars to survive fighting Jedi. And in this one, he has his chest things not beeping until after he gets stabbed and starts pulsing like a heart.
Mhm,
So it's like a secondary heart kicking in.
mhm.
Yeah.
Well, does
he may
Boba
not
not
be
know
dead.
that? I hope he's not because I liked him and I
I
feel like
I love Cad Bane.
Yeah,
I
that's
like
what
to-
I felt. That was another build up with like a
Here's my issue. The
anticlimactic.
duel that they have should have felt much more important. And I think obviously if you have the history of watching the Clone Wars and watching the animated shows, you know more about their history with each other
And watching deleted scenes.
and watching little deleted scenes. But here's the deal. Why wait till the 6th episode to introduce Cad Bane? Why not do that in the 2nd episode? That way when
Could've been a
he
good
finally
build-up.
finally
End of the
faces
first
off.
episode should have been Cad Bane.
Right. Well, that way when they finally face off in that 7th episode within the arc of this season, maybe it feels more impactful. Maybe it feels bigger. And like also the thing with the gaffy stick, Boba having it, like it didn't. I think that's supposed to call back to like episode 2 with like his training and stuff, but like it just didn't. Like Troy said, it just fell flat. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay,
Yeah, it didn't connect. We
Like,
should have been
that's-
crying.
Yeah.
Because when he killed him with that gaffy stick, he should have turned around and just started making out with the Tuskens.
It feels like when Cad Bane turns the corner, he's just like, I'm walking towards my death at this point. Like, because you see it coming, and it's then when it's acted out, it's there's no surprises, and it doesn't feel as earned as
Cad
it
Bane
should
is-
with a cool character like that.
Cad Bane's really good at walking in slow motion, and
Yeah.
I get that he's in the cartoons and he does have a big history with Boba Fett, and I think that's cool they brought him in, but I would say 75%, that might be a big number, but I feel like 75% of people are just watching the live action stuff and they're not watching the cartoons. So even though
I would give it a higher percent.
yeah,
But
maybe
they're currently Googling, trying to figure out who this blue guy is.
right, but it's just
Yeah.
like it's not as impactful for the people. You can't. It's not that I would never. I know that they're canon. I wouldn't say they don't count because they are canon, but it's like most of your audience is not watching.
But here's the thing. I think when Cad Bane showed up last week, it was a lot like when Ahsoka showed up, where even if you don't know the history there and haven't watched the shows, you felt there was like a presence there.
Yeah.
Sure.
They kind of knocked him down a couple pegs immediately this week. Like he kind of lost the way they introduced him was like, holy, it felt like the Man in Black from Stephen King's incredible book, The Gunslinger, the one I read, and when they're in the desert and stuff. And I'm just saying, no, I'm not even joking. Like there was a weight to that character, and
Yeah.
a lot. I feel like they had to wrap up a lot. Clearly, they're a couple people brought it up to the chat. In the chat, they're bridging to get to Mando season 3, and I've got conflicted feelings about Grogu being back with Mando
Yes.
so quickly. Like,
Yeah.
So
Why do
this
we have
was
to
the
take the
best
Boba train to
cliffhanger
get there? To get
You could
to
have had going into season 3. The choice. That would have been the biggest hook they could have had.
yeah, why didn't they? Grogu did not need to be in this episode.
No.
Well, I think you mentioned before, Craig, that you felt like that Boba Fett as a show was kind of rushed, and maybe originally like a lot of this was just Mandalorian season 3, because doesn't it make sense if you had Mandalorian season 3 that they would not reunite until the last episode of the, what I
Right.
mean? Like that'd be the big thing. It's definitely weird that they just like
But
got it out of the way.
The problem is though, last week felt like episode 1 of season 3 of The Mandalorian, right? That's what it
Yeah.
felt like, and it was perfect. It was perfectly executed.
Mhm.
This, when he finally gets with Grogu, it wasn't as impactful as I wanted it to be, because it didn't feel as earned, because last week was
R2
heartbreaking.
just flew him back.
Yeah.
Just drop him
And
off.
and the reunion is, hey buddy,
Yeah.
and they're off and
Yeah.
running. You're like,
Yeah, they're just ready to roll.
What about
I like that
Grogu's
Pelimoto
choice?
is the emergency contact for Grogu.
Yeah.
Grogu,
I mean,
what a terrible name.
I definitely feel like that isn't done. Like there's got to be more to Grogu's
Sure.
force training or whatever. Like you can't. I feel like you can't tease Grogu having Luke Skywalker or Yoda's lightsaber, and then just being like, "Nah, here, go
Right.
home." Like we'll see that at some point. There'll be.
Right.
It almost feels like I was kind of even thinking that after the whole Rancor scene happened, that maybe Din would be like, "Whoa, this kid needs that train. Like look how powerful he." Maybe he would almost have a little bit of a change of heart after seeing the kind of stuff he could do. But I don't know. I guess we'll see.
I mean, I think you're right. I think Din's going to go back to Luke and say, you have to keep training him. And Luke's going to be
Maybe
all
there'll be
Luke
an
about it.
accident or something. Maybe there'll be some sort of I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
Din dies season 3.
Mm-mm.
It's not what I mean.
So yeah, like a lot of this kind of goes into the disjointedness of the show that I'm feeling. But let's roundtable a little bit. Like Ryan, what was some of the stuff you liked about this episode?
Just like Jake, I love the Rancor. The Rancor looked great. And again, when you're doing a lot of these characters that we first see established as like practical puppets, like Hutts and Rancors, they always look better. It doesn't even matter if it was 1983 or whatever it was, right? Like it's 40 some years ago, and yet somehow those still always look better. But this one still looked really, really, really good. And the VFX team did an amazing job on that. Shout out to my boy Dave Seeger, who's the VFX soup on this episode. So yeah, I'm gonna be a little nicer because I know who did it. But you know, I really did enjoy that last fight, and I liked seeing Fennec Shand do like freaking ninja stuff at the
she
mayor's
harmed the mayor.
Hey,
Yeah.
why didn't she do that in the first place?
Yeah.
Why
I
didn't
know.
she do that in the first episode?
But as much as I love that, it still was weird to me because they just did this weird fade to black. Like she kills the room and they do this really awkward
Because
fade to black when it's
Yeah,
supposed to be
because-
like a side wipe to the next scene. Anyways,
Yeah,
that's
you're
that's
right.
a nitpick.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well,
Jake, what'd you
Fair.
like about this episode?
the Rancor. I mean,
It
like,
did look great.
I mean, there is some weirdness with the fact that you saw the Rancor episodes ago, and then they just jumped back to it. Whatever. It looked amazing. It was scary. It was cool to see. It was cool to see like the way a Rancor moves and jumps around, and like in the old film, you don't really. It just does this, and its mouth opens. But I like the King Kong scene. It's climbing and like eating people. Everything with the Rancor, and it made me wonder. Something. They talk about the Mandalorian like prophecy about the Mandalorian that rides the great mythosaur, but then the armorer says that the mythosaur doesn't exist. But then you got Boba Fett riding a Rancor, and I wonder if like if they go further with Boba Fett, that if him riding the Rancor will be kind of be like, oh, he's the one who rode the mythosaur. Like if that has some sort of significance in the Mandalorian lore, that he's the one who trained the giant beast or whatever.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, maybe.
Did I just make all that up?
No. I mean,
No, I actually like that.
No, and I think like the thing that Abby, I'll go to you next. What I learned about this series is not everybody needs their own series. Like, I think Boba Fett is best served as a side character. Cool armor, fucking shit up, hunting people down.
He's like the Ben Affleck of Star Wars. He's never good as the main character. He's always
hey.
good as like a supporting character.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it felt
Wow.
weird to be like on a series watching him, and then it's like you're dating or just like getting to know Boba Fett to get to Mando, and it feels weird.
I love that. We're dating Boba Fett just so we can get a piece of his buddy Mando.
Yeah,
Well,
so you can hang out, maybe
yeah.
get to know him, exchange numbers.
Like when Mando showed up, the world collectively went, "Oh,
yes,
cool."
the show is good. Yeah,
I don't know.
and I liked. If you were asking favorite part of the
Yeah.
episode, I like seeing Mando, and I love seeing Grogu back. I'm a sucker for when that music starts to play, little chimes.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, so that was fun. But God, I get to things that upset me. Like the Rancor was really cool to see. It just felt like I seeing it pissed me off because I was like, wait, I wanted to see more training and bonding between Boba and this huge creature, because that could have been very cool.
That's the whole fucking thing. Because the whole
Yeah.
fucking point of the first two episodes.
You're like, oh, cool. I'm gonna watch,
Hold
a
on.
bond.
The first two episodes of this show were all about how, hey, Boba Fett was a loner, and he lost his dad, and he's been alone, and he's been confused, and
Get him a puppy.
he found his tribe, and he found these people, and he trained with them, and he learned what it was like to be part of a tribe and to have a family. And then you introduce this Rancor, and he bonds with it, and I completely agree with you. And then you just don't fuck these Vespas. First of all, I don't care. Everybody's right. Everybody's right. Like, seriously.
Fuck these vests.
Sometimes in Star Wars, there's just shit that's not great. If you needed to introduce the mod parlor to explain Fennec Shand and bring back Cobb Vanth,
But you didn't.
maybe you didn't, but that's fine. But like, it feels like, I'm just gonna go there.
Please do it.
Feels like Junior Ghostbusters. It feels like the Neutrinos. It feels like the BK Kids Club. It's just weird. It doesn't make
Feels
sense.
like Poochie.
It
Everybody keeps
Hi,
calling him
kids.
Poochie.
It does feel like
I
fucking-
say as I wear my backward hat. but yeah.
I say that as I say, Brian Flynn at Super 7, please get these Super 7 Ultimate Simpsons figures in my
In the
hands.
same breath.
I'm sick of me. You know what? I was happy to see the Rancor, but I've been mad about so mad at Hasbro right now. I'm so mad.
I do love that Pelimoto was ready to eat the Rancor. Oh,
Yeah,
it's still alive, so I guess we're not eating it.
I was down for a barbecue. I just couldn't believe that, like, the very last scene before you, like, cut to Grogu and Mando up in space doing the jump. Like, I think the last line is whatever her name is, Dash or Dre or something. The
No,
female Dash. Okay. Well,
Dash.
it's like
Mrs.
she has
Dash.
the last line. And she's like, "Aren't you gonna share Chrysanthemum?" And you're like, "How is that? How did you have that as the end of this?
I don't remember that.
The wrap up? Yeah,
It was like
an
the end of a
offhand-
Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's like, "Aren't
that's
you gonna
weird.
share that?"
I'm surprised it wasn't a
Weird.
PSA.
Talking about subs.
You know what? Give me a PSA with the mods at the end, telling everybody not to do spice.
Can we make some?
Yeah. How
I would love to do that.
How is the biggest Star Wars fan I've ever met in my life, and you know more than anybody. So,
Mhm.
Hal's been waiting for Boba Fett in this some sort of expanded way. Did this show deliver for you?
Overall, no.
Oh.
I mean, there was like episode 2, loved it. Then we go into doldrums of 3 and 4, and then 5 and 6 are amazing, and then this thing.
Yeah.
But Boba Fett, using the jetpack to slide around fighting the droids was amazing. I love that part.
Yeah, I thought the battle was okay. Like I didn't have. I mean, I know Abby, you
I
brought up.
I won't say the battle was okay.
I
Boba
thought
Fett fighting the droids. The battles was people standing in the middle of the street shooting at each other, not having any cover, and nobody dying.
Yeah,
Except for the fish people.
Somebody,
and then continuing to shoot at those huge droids, even though it was impenetrable.
We
Like,
can't get through the shields. Keep shooting.
do something else, maybe.
somebody. I don't know.
Which
who
is
said
why
it.
the Rancor
I think it
comes
was.
out.
I think it was Flash earlier said that it felt like a Wild West stunt show, and it kind of did. It kind of feels like you're at Six Flags.
Yes,
a
I
little
kept
bit.
wanting to say the action felt like a stunt show, like through the whole thing. Like,
Cancel
Walrus
Indiana
Man
Jones.
hits the barrel of water just like a stunt show. Like,
That looked
Yeah.
like that
Yes.
hurt.
yeah.
Oh my
Remember-
very
God.
violent too.
Remember, like, for the first 6 episodes, we were all like, okay, so who's commanding the Pikes? Like, who's it gonna be?
No, you
And then-
were.
We
Turns
all
out you're
were.
Magneto.
Stop it, we all were. And then this episode just cuts to a scene with a Pike in the mayor, and they're just like, well, what do we do now? And it's like, what? It's
We did it
just
all.
the mayor the whole time.
was.
Like,
Yeah.
okay.
Mephisto shows up. He's like,
I have a couple theories about Black Chrysanthemum. I think he's really cool looking. I think he's pretty beastly. Look at his face when they do close-ups. He's a couple pit droids short of a Pelimoto garage shop. Okay? There's something. He's not all there.
Skank and scud pie.
Yeah, he's a skank in the scud pie. I'm just like every time they look at him, he's just like think about it. We talked about it.
It's
at the
when all
time.
those Trandoshans dogpile him that you're just like, oh.
Like, listen.
see, I was.
Hold on,
Oh, go ahead.
We talked about it, and I had a really funny conversation with my buddy Trevor Zammit from NECA. He brought it up again, and I haven't thought about it since it happened. But that episode where they let Chrysanthemum go free, he lightly starts jogging off screen.
That's
It's
a microcosm.
It's like, why?
That's all he does, though. He
Wasn't
either
it-
runs away or he limps. And when we finally got, even when they pulled out the knives, like all the lizards, and they're like, they're getting ready to fight. I actually honestly thought for one hot minute we were gonna get like him punching the face
Right.
off of a Transocean and
arms.
like
Mm.
tearing a
arms
limb
off.
off
Yes.
and beating the snot out of them with it. And like after this whole big
Amazing.
thing of like, you're like this great, amazing fighter in the pits. of
It's
blah blah blah, and all of a sudden we got like, what? He
I'm just
punched
like-
one dude in the face, and like,
Yeah.
I keep thinking back to the episode where the Hutts show up, and you're like, first of all, you're like, oh my God, there's Hutts. There's 2 of them.
Mhm.
And then when they first introduce Chrysanthemum, the way he walks into frame, I remember I was just like, what the fuck is, because it's all presented in such a like he just looks like you're just like, oh my God, this guy, Boba Fett's gonna have to fight this guy. And then it's like, nah, hey, you know what? No, he's not. Nobody is. He's just gonna be standing there the whole time.
and when
Yeah.
Boba Fett does fight him, it's gonna be in his gotch when he got out of the bathtub.
Yeah, I was
The hot
literally.
dog.
But even then, Boba Fett fought him first. It was mostly the Gamorrean guards and Fennec. You know what I mean? Like
And-
Boba
and the
Fett
mods.
fought him for a
And
minute.
the
forget the
mods.
mods.
Yeah.
Well, the
Yeah.
mods just like circled around him and
You know
stunned
what,
things.
though?
Yeah, but there was no
They-
like
they
earning.
spun around. They literally spun around.
They got one tactic.
maybe part of the mods, like maybe he has a little spring. He's like the only way, or no, there's certain people who can't turn left. Maybe he can only shoot if he does a spin first. It's like an anxiety he has.
Ah.
Just pull the trigger. I gotta do my spin first.
Okay.
I love that. But this is how fun is this? Let's go to the chat.
I'm buying all the toys if they make them.
Brinkley Studios, Mr. Mitchell Brinkley. In the last episode, there was a moment in the shootout where the mods have to help BC up, and you can see
Because
Black
Black
because-
Santan,
Black Santa, and you can
not British Columbia.
see the right foot band inward as if the actor's foot came out of the boot. Okay, that's very funny. I didn't notice that. John Yurkeba, so much of the show was all talk and no follow through in a lot of ways. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, that's what I was saying at the end of the episode when you see Black Chrysanthemum getting the fruit and like not sharing it. You're like, wasn't he just trying to kill
Yeah.
Boba Fett very recently? Like, there's no earned trust. There's no like process of like breaking
There's
down.
a lot of
and
weird
finding
decision
common
Yeah.
ground.
I mean,
yes.
remember that episode where Boba
Rush.
Fett got into his ship, whatever the ship's called now. He got to Slave One, and
Fire spray.
It immediately was like, "I'm going back to the Sarlacc pit. I'm gonna find my armor." And Fennec's like,
Oh,
Jump
I don't
right
care what
into it.
anyone says. I love that. That's my
It was-
Star Tours scene. I love it.
It was cool, but I don't know if it made sense.
Yeah.
Ryan, it's really funny that you say you're going to buy all the toys they make of him, because I just hope you remember that 3 years from now when they finally do make Book of Boba Fett toys.
3. That's optimistic.
Don't,
Dude,
that's
yeah,
a
you-
different show. I can't.
I can't wait till 5 years from now when they do Lady Tuscan and like we don't care anymore about that.
Oh no, we'll
character.
still care.
Oh, they're gonna bring her back.
Yeah.
They're gonna bring her back, and then
Bring her back in RoboCop.
Pablo Hidalgo's gonna tweet about how,
RoboCop.
RoboCop.
oh, please make
Think it
her.
through.
RoboCop.
Think it through. Dead or alive, you're coming with me.
Citizens of Freetown.
Ah.
Troy,
Yes, sir.
you've been watching Star Wars a long time. You're a fan. There's always these moments in Star Wars where things like Jake, you've said this so much too. Like, we know how good it can be when it's all clicking. And like, let's face it, that Dave Filoni episode was just
1 week ago, everything was
It was a
clicking.
week ago.
Fine.
Yeah.
it was a week ago.
Mhm.
So is this a Rodriguez thing? Is this a, hey, we can't fully commit to season 3 of Mando yet, but we got to do something? Is this a Kitbash of a show? Because there's
maybe.
no, to me, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's tough because there are so many things that we all like. There are things in this episode that we all like. One of my favorite things in this episode is the Butch and Sundance moment where they're holed up in the sanctuary husk, and they're talking about, well, if we're gonna go out, we're gonna go out shooting. This is the way. Let's go. And I was like, oh man, this is going to be great. Like, this is their last stand, and they're going to go out there and they're going to face the army by themselves. Would have been a great moment. And then all of these things derail that moment. You lose that tension that you've built up to the point where, I mean, the Major Domo moment was great, but it was sort of a weird choice. And then the other thing too, that when you sit and you realize, I think AJ in the chat brought it up. It's like, Boba wants to go back to Jabba's palace. It's a fortress. It is completely defensible. It is the best place for him to be if he's about to be under siege by all of this army. And then all of a sudden, the mods say, if you love Mos Espa, you're staying here. Like everybody goes like Tatooine strong on him out of nowhere. And you're like, but
That's a shirt. Tatooine strong.
Bracelet.
These mods hated Tatooine a week ago. They couldn't get water. They hated the water baron. They were just kind of punk rock pissed off kids.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they've got all of this pride. And then
Now they got
Freetown
school
shows
spirit.
up and they're all like Tatooine. You're like, since when did Tatooine become so desirable for all of these people to fight for it?
Yeah.
They went from rebel bad kids to the Dead Poet Society, and like
it was it just
dead mod society.
Yeah, like
Make a
I
last
think
stand.
like I think you guys have said it felt condensed. It felt maybe that they had to kind of figure out ways to tie things together because they thought this would go on more episodes. I don't know. I mean, again, I have no idea what happened, but it's just so tough because the last 2 episodes were so good. They were just so
I can't
good.
wait for the documentary that comes out after.
All good. Did we place our bet on what bionic upgrade Cobb Vanth is getting? Well, I know what I
mean,
think it is.
He doesn't need that upgraded.
The 2 times that I watched it, it looks pretty evident that he gets shot in the shoulder.
Shot in the shoulder.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
That's what I was thinking,
why he's
shoulder.
I have no clue why a shoulder shot takes him out so hardcore that he needs a fucking
Go have like
mod.
a headpiece.
Better go mod that Rancor. Got shot in the shoulder.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. It took me 3 rewinds to see that was Cobb Vanth. Like the way that shot was set up, you kind of see him in profile and you see his gray hair, and it kind of didn't look like him.
Yeah.
But the focus is on what's his name, the mod parlor guy.
Worst
the entire
character.
time.
I know.
The worst character in the entire show. Yeah, that guy.
So if the moment there is, hey, we're showing you that this person is alive, wouldn't you end on the person that's alive so that I know that?
Again, Troy.
Why not the badass
Yes,
modder?
you would think. And
Yeah.
also, I was saying the Cad Bane thing earlier about how he should have brought them in earlier, or they should have brought Cad Bane earlier. Would the people of Freetown show up? Who cares? I just met them.
It looks like they're in a parade in like a slow moving
okay.
The only character you know from Freetown other than Cobb Vanth is the bartender who's like, "Fuck you, Boba, we ain't coming." And now it's like, we're
Star
here.
Wars, there's Star Wars has this issue, right? Sometimes Star Wars moments are the greatest things you've ever seen in your life, and it's emotional and memorable. And you think about Luke showing up last year. If you think about Ahsoka showing up last year, you think about
Even just the crate dragon.
Think about the crate dragon, and think about, or even like this year, like episode 2 of this year, the last scene with the tribal dance with Boba and all the Tuscans. Like those are moments. Sometimes Star Wars. Okay, I don't want to talk sequel trilogy, but I got to. Episode 9.
Here we go.
I thought about it a
Hold
few
on,
times.
hold on.
Sequel trilogy moment of the week, brought to you by
It's-
Craig Goldberg. Here we
It's
go.
time. By the way, today's sequel trilogy moment of the week is brought to you by Landoscaped. It's the new Manscaped Lando Calrissian level 4. Comes, yeah. Anyways, episode 9. The final order. What is that? They just made it up on the spot. I'm supposed to care about it, but they're just saying, okay, cool. I'll take your word for it. Nobody's showing up. Everybody's showing up. Ships from all over the galaxy. Who are these people? Who cares? Where's the buildup? They wanted that to be the on your left moment from the Endgame, and it was a skank of the scud pie. Okay, let's just put it out there. And I felt like this was a much tinier version of that. Of like, we're backed in the corner. Everybody turn on
Yeah.
us. The people of Freetown are here in a slow-moving hover tank through the streets of Mos Espa.
Yes, like when they have that last stand, I think you're specifically referencing like when there's the two Soapy T and then whoever, like there's a village person who's from Mos Espa.
I love that you know some of the names.
They do a gun switch and it feels very much like that
They
forced
shoot
moment
the
of
droid shield, which does nothing.
yeah, I know. I'm like, can we stop shooting at the shield? Literally, it's not doing
Yeah.
shit. We got a new
And on top of that,
plan.
the woman from Freetown that she all of a sudden became like boyfriend girlfriend with.
Yeah,
She's like the last time
No,
we
we've
even
never
saw
met
her was in that episode where Cobb Vanth is like, okay, gather the town. First get inside, now gather the town. I need all the fighters.
She's
It's
working
not
on a
an earned
speeder or a
moment.
swoop. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like so I mean, whatever.
God, this is so
We're gonna get
awesome.
a playset of just a wall to hide behind.
I wonder if like
Yeah.
you know
Guys laugh.
you were talking earlier about
He
how
doesn't need me.
the show feels like a Kitbash of maybe 2 or 3 other shows or ideas. It almost feels like once, you know, when Mandalorian was coming out, like we were all excited about it. It was going to be the first live action Star Wars TV. But when I heard it was going to be about a Mandalorian, I was like, oh, well, I have no expectations for this. I don't care what it is. I don't care about Mandalorians. I just did not care. And it's like when it's something new like that and there's not like expectations about it, it ended up being like one of the best things ever. And Dave Filoni ended up being kind of like a savior to Star Wars in a weird time. And then it feels like now that Mandalorian season 1 and 2 were done and they're going to do more. Now it's this big, wide, popular thing. And now it's like, oh, now you got actors who are going to start being a little whatever over it. Maybe there's pull from Disney or other executives. It's like now that it's something everybody loves, we have to control what it does. And then you end up getting a weird show. You end up getting like a weird show where
you
it
end up
feels
getting
like
Game of
Homogenized.
Thrones
pull
the
from
last season.
everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
How are we feeling about Kenobi?
I'm excited.
I'm still
Super
excited
excited.
about Kenobi. Yeah,
No, I mean, I'm
super-
excited, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I'm holding out for that.
I mean,
I
we're
think-
not going to know until it hits. So.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and the thing with Kenobi is a character that we know and we've spent time with, and we have expectations for what Kenobi is going to be, but we know Kenobi well enough to quantify those expectations. I think with Boba Fett, kind of what you were saying, Jake, like he's a character we don't really. He's the mystery man. He's the man with no name. He's the harmonica man.
He's the king of headcanon.
Yeah. So once he shows up and you start imprinting something upon him, anybody's headcanon is now invalidated. And so, you know, for all of us who thought, oh, he's hunted Jedi, that's why he's got all of their Padawan braids, or he used to hunt Wookiees and that's why he's got Wookiee
He used to
braids.
fist fight Wookiees and beat.
And yeah, he used to. But now all of a sudden he's this hero, and they're imprinting upon him that he wants to be, you know, the
He's gone into politics.
benevolent king. Yeah, it's.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's no
not
way.
what you expected, but Kenobi doesn't have that. Like Kenobi, we know who he is, why he's doing what he's doing, and when we catch up with him, we're going to have that background to go into.
I just realized that Boba Fett is the Star Wars equivalent to Jesse Ventura.
Okay.
He does all this
let me
cool
tell
shit.
you this. Let me tell you this, Boba Fett. Here's the deal.
Listen here, Din.
Listen. My issue is that I agree with everything you just said, Troy, and he is the king of headcanon. When they debuted him on The Mandalorian, and he showed up in Tuscan robes, and he was waving around that gaffy stick, just beheading stormtroopers. Everybody, even Jacob Walsh, the person who's I've known for 7 years, has been telling me how much of a piece of shit Boba Fett is. Even
True.
Jake Walsh was
Still true.
humbled, much like I am when I stand at the seashore by the ocean. I'm humbled, like I talked about on YHS last week. Jake was humbled. No, Jake, we all went, whoa, this is a version of Boba Fett we've never even imagined before. We can't wait to learn more. And then the beginning of this season, we started to learn more, and it was like, wow, he was trained by these Tuscans, and he's a bounty hunter, but he's also this Tuscan warrior, and he went through this Native American like
saw Boba Fett dance.
spiritual journey. And then the second half of the season, he just walks around town with his helmet. Like that's most of his scenes. So it's like they actually achieved the thing they went out for, was like, let's make him more than he's ever been and let's elevate him. And then I'm just gonna put it out here. As funny as it was, the Book of Bath to Tank, the underwear scene with him sliding around like a sloppy fish sandwich, it didn't do any favors for his badassness. And then, like we all know, the guy who attacked him, like I said earlier, he's a little off too. So like something happened a couple episodes in where everything just got to switch.
Well, I said it. I think I said it a couple episodes back that you can't. They already made the Mandalorian. Like the Mandalorian exists. You can't make Boba Fett. You can't do the Mandalorian, 2 seasons of the Mandalorian, and then do a season of Boba Fett. And what all of the people who love Boba Fett wanted to see, badass Boba Fett doing a bunch of
cool and
jobs
exciting
and
things,
shit like that. You can't do that because you just had a Mandalorian do all that stuff. You can't watch that again. And also, Disney, Star Wars, whatever, you're not going to watch them. You're never going to see like a main show or movie where your main character is a villain. 100%, they're getting, they're turning face like 100%, no matter what. So like,
I'm just gonna get out
like mad about that. It's like, what, Craig?
Doing an anti-hero thing is tough. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's Craig doing?
I think there's an issue. I think you see it with Hasbro Star Wars. There is a push and pull at Disney. I'm not a YouTube like person. I'm not doing this as clickbait. I'm not going to title this episode.
Hey, I'm sorry, but you are a YouTube person.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is
these are the Craig conspiracies.
The name of this episode, well, it might be for clicks, but it's not going to be what Disney really thinks of Boba Fett. But I think there is a push and pull. We've heard rumblings. I think there's an original trilogy versus moving the story forward. There's issues at Disney. I really do that. I don't think they want. I would not be. We've heard this stuff. I would not be surprised if there are high-powered people in the story group at Disney or at Lucasfilm who do not like the Luke Skywalker stuff. They're bummed about it. Right? The Mandalorian being a success is incredible. And I do agree that you can't just do that with Boba Fett, but I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. Something happened. And I don't want to hear COVID. They've been shooting movies under COVID for 2 years now. It's not just COVID. Can't just blame everything on COVID for the rest of eternity. Hasbro stuff.
Now you're a YouTube person.
Now I'm a YouTuber.
You can't blame like plot holes.
Right.
Well, it's like there's a missing episode.
COVID. Mm-hmm.
It is. It feels like there's 2 missing episodes.
Yeah.
And it feels like the threat should have been introduced much earlier. It should have been stronger. Cad Bane should have been earlier. Why did they save Cad Bane and Luke why did all that happen at one episode? It was great, but sprinkle it. I don't even know where I'm going with any of this. I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated.
The structure of the show was strange. It's like, it's worth mentioning. It really affected my enjoyment level of the show.
Oh God. Hey, before the chat, I know it's about to happen to the chat. Everybody be nice. I can see it's coming already. Anyways, let's move on. I have issues with this show, but then I have that flip side thing where I go, I know what it was like 2005 to 2015. We went 10 years with no Star Wars live action. I kind of like having it.
Yeah,
like
now
having
we
it
get
a lot.
Pelimoto spitting a tooth, and I'm here for it.
Yep.
I mean, we're sitting here and kind of nitpicking and complaining, and yeah, maybe the show was weird, but there still were like a lot of great stuff in it. And I think if I were gonna write every 7 episodes down, and I think there's 4 good episodes, to 3 not so good episodes, and sadly the finale is one of the not so good episodes, but there's still some great stuff here, and everything up. All the Mandalorian stuff has been so good that I'm not like, it doesn't like, make me nervous for the next show. I'm still just as excited for the next. It's just
that I think it's the
bummer.
Vespa kids. The Vespa kids all feel like they live, in Mario Brothers movie, all the good people have to like go underground. That's where the Vespa kids are down there.
They live in
They're Morlocks.
land.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not because I love new characters. I want new characters. I like new characters.
I like grounded characters that are anchored with
Those
like,
kids should be grounded.
a history.
Get off the streets of Malsays.
Wow.
Get a job.
Old Craig yelling at a cloud. Film it alive.
Yeah, that's me. All right.
Get
Well,
jobs.
now that we've covered what we liked about this episode, I think we got Grunberged. I like that from Mr. Kevin.
R.I.P. Snaps.
Did he die?
Yeah.
Did he die?
Oh yeah,
Battle
like
of
big time.
Final Order.
We cheered.
Can we talk?
You
about
would think
Russ
Captain
Skywalker
America
yet?
caught the hammer. That's how hard we cheered.
Craig Grunberg dies. Audience reactions.
Hey, you know what's weird? One thing that's weird to me about this whole show. Sorry,
No, please.
The scene, the book end of the last episode with Cobb Vanth, talking to the Pike Syndicate in the beginning, and then talking to Cad Bane at the end. The writing there, like what there's did those two scenes not feel like they were out of a Quentin Tarantino movie? Like that's what I want more of, is that like that scene where he's gonna shoot the Pike. That is the most tense thing that happens in the entire book of Boba Fett.
Think it through.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be the best scene in the season.
Well, listen, that's the Robert Rodriguez stuff too, right? Like we're
No.
talking about the last
was-
episode.
That was
Yeah.
Filoni.
Okay.
That was fun.
Well, I mean,
That
he's
was
still-
full.
Yeah, but Rodriguez was still the showrunner. Like, I mean, supposedly, I don't know. Kathleen
But,
Kennedy stepped in.
but Jake's right. That I still think about that banter back and forth with the Pikes and stuff too, where he's just like, the Pikes are like, that costs more than the town. Well, maybe I'll retire.
Yeah.
Right?
I
Like
want to
just
see that.
Yeah.
I want to see more of that as far as a show or whatever. Like you get people who, it's weird. Like there's, like you were saying, you hear that side of people that only want sequel, push forward. Then you got people like, I love Luke. I want to see more Luke all the time. But like scenes like that with Cobb Vanth is what makes me feel like, oh, Cobb Vanth is now my Star Wars. So
here's what
do
you do with
this.
Cobb Vanth. Give him a Star Wars spinoff, get him off Tatooine, put him on another planet, and let it just be kind of an isolated standalone thing where he's the new marshal on this planet and it's a town and it's just all self-contained with whatever's going on.
They
I'm
it's
canceled
like
that show.
reverse Green Acres.
I'm describing Deadwood, but
I was gonna say you just pitched me Deadwood, and I'm into
Yeah.
it. I'm into it.
But they had that show. They canceled it.
yeah,
But what if it all takes place in that bar and it's more like Cheers?
Wow.
Oh,
Pretty sad.
dude. Yes. I'm okay with that.
that. So he's just great. Cobb Vanth is an awesome character. He's had very limited screen time, and he just owns the screen. He chews the scenes.
But you know what, though? I think that's good. I think we need more side characters like that where we can, again, I still think it's important that us as fans get to use our imagination a little bit and that we don't have to have everything spelled out to a T. And I think it's kind of nice to have a character who's that good and that beloved that we get those little like dashes of him here, dashes of him there, and then it feels special.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be like my point wasn't that, oh, everything needs to be Cobb Vanth. It's just that everything should be as well written and acted as those tiny little fucking scenes were. It's like
Right.
that's
It felt
what
important.
Star Wars should feel like, or I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what good storytelling feels like.
Yeah.
Some Randalorian said this This is interesting. I wonder, as we enter the new series style of Star Wars and still filling this out, maybe Boba was a safe play. Pumped for Andor. I'm very excited for Andor too. And I know it was a long time ago, but they built some massive sets for that show. Obviously, I'm sure they'll still use the what's it called, the volume, for the digital backgrounds and stuff. But I have a feeling, in the way that Rogue One was just like this really refreshing, like, wow, this is this kind of Star Wars I always imagined. I think we're going to get more of that in Andor. He's a character I like a lot. It's always weird with prequel stuff, not Star Wars prequels, but just prequels in general, where the fate of the character. Sometimes that can kind of work against the show because it can make the stakes feel lower. But I'm excited about that show. I really am.
Same.
But yeah,
I agree with Kat here. There needs to be less shows overall and more story in one show.
There you go.
More meat on the bone.
Hey, how about a Star Wars movie? That'd be interesting. What, are they going to do one of those?
No.
No more Star Wars movie?
Don't need them. Series are better.
No, I want Fan First Friday. No, what's it called?
That's something completely different, Craig.
No. What's the thing when a new movie comes out and all the toys come out at midnight?
Midnight Madness.
Yeah, I want Midnight Madness. Triple Force Friday.
Yeah.
I'll never forget. Let me regale the audience real quick with Triple Force Friday 2019. You got Mandalorian, Rise of Skywalker, and Jedi Fallen Order all coming out at the same time. We get to Walmart at midnight. Nothing. There's literally nothing except for 2 electronic remote controlled Dio droids.
Yeah.
Which I had to buy. I was like, this is gonna be my new favorite droid. I could just tell. You
got regalled.
And that was it. I had to wake up the next day and go to Target thinking there was gonna I don't know.
And then we watched videos on YouTube that were from FAO Schwartz in 1999 and we cried.
Yeah.
Oh, so much better.
How'd you catch that
It was
high?
so good. Well, each one of these figures is going to come with a small chip, and they plays clips from the movie. Just crying, like, yes.
You guys have got any more Darth Mauls? Have you seen any more Darth Mauls?
Yeah, I'm probably going to get about 3 of each character, probably 10 Darth Mauls, because those are going to go for about $300 a pop. I'm going to pay for my kids' college.
Oh, my kids are cool.
I'm going to watch that again tonight.
Dude, I'm going to make a YouTube
Yeah.
video called The Top 10 Things People Bought in the 90s They Thought Were Going to Put Their Kids Through College.
Turns out Naboo Starfighter was one.
Yeah. You never know.
Just had to hold out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
30
30 years, man. It worked.
So where are we? Where do we go from here? It's crazy. Like you would think with there was so much to unpack last week, and you think about the finale last year of Mandalorian, how it left your mind going into a million directions of the possibilities. I came out of this episode I like cliffhangers. I like, sure, we want to know where Mando and Grogu are going, but it didn't leave me going. And then the stinger, the Cobb Vanth thing. I know we've already talked about it. Again, I love Cobb Vanth, but that was like, what is that? What?
I hope that mod guy, Lino, I hope he didn't fucking do this thing where he overdoes it. I don't want him coming out with a giant arm that's drags on the ground.
Bicentennial Man now.
Yeah.
Boba Fett was digested by a Sarlacc pit for I don't know, a year or something, and he used a Bacta tank to 100% completely heal.
Yeah.
Why can't Combat? Why is he he got shot in the
why
shoulder?
mod?
I don't get
Why
it.
modding him? Maybe he didn't want the mod.
That's what, is there no other health care or
It's
No.
Leia got shot in the same
options
spot.
besides
Yeah.
cosmetic surgery?
It's so
Sorry,
weird.
It's okay, Troy.
Listen. And here's what's happening. He's in the band. What's it called? The Bacta tank. It's not the
Bacta
Bantha
tank.
The
tank.
Bantha tank.
He's in the Bantha tank. He's in the
That's a
Bacta
whole
We
tank.
never
nother
saw
thing.
that damn bantha that he left in the desert.
Died.
Oh,
Didn't make any
Boy, the
babies.
babies.
put him on the list.
He's in the Bacta tank, right? And he's just healing. And then maybe the mod guy's showing up, and he's gonna.
He's evil.
You know what he's gonna do? And this is something that evil people do. They perform a lot of unnecessary surgeries. Okay. And I think that's what's happening here. And he's gonna overdo it. and Cobb Vanth is going to wake up, and he's going to be like we said, RoboCop. What was the thing? RoboCop. Marshall.
RoboCop. That was
RoboCop.
He's gonna
Robert
be
Ryan.
He's
Yeah.
gonna be RoboCop, and it's gonna be crazy. Oh,
He's gonna look like Akira mixed in with something from The Simpsons.
I don't
You know,
wa-
it's like he's gonna have a dog body like Smithers in the
Mm.
future. Do you remember that? That's what it's gonna be like.
Was Cobb Vanth not already awesome and kind of perfect? It's
He was fucking perfect.
yeah, I know. Like
No, that's why we have to change him.
he's the closest to a Han Solo type character.
mhm.
We were gonna get a cop show of these guys going around the galaxy, and it was gonna be called Cobb and Mayfeld, and they were just gonna tour around the galaxy,
Could you imagine?
That's a hard
arguing
Hey, hold on.
about things
hold
and
on.
arresting
That's a
people.
hard pass.
How about all the Han Solo rumors this year?
Ah, well, we
Kira?
were believing our own Kira.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
Kira's plausible. There's no way in hell they're bringing back Harrison Ford. He's done.
Oh my god, we all.
I am though. I am kind of looking forward to like being done just with Mandalorian and Boba for a little. Like I'm happy to get into Obi-Wan, and I don't know when Ahsoka's coming, but just like the other. And I know there'll probably be a little bit of crossover here and there, but I am like at this point it's been 3 seasons of the Mandalorian basically. I'm ready.
let's get wild about
ready for
Obi-Wan.
somebody else to.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What crazy shit do you think? What crazy shit would you want to see? Like for me, I want Kitster to return.
I think
in
that might be
Obi-Wan.
happening. I think it might be happening.
Yeah, we've heard that with like Han Solo, Kira, IG-88 and Dengar. Don't worry about it.
Oh yeah. Hey, how about we got to go back to what was it 5 weeks ago? The chart.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you still
who's the-
have that?
who's the
None
team
of those
gonna-
people
The
showed up.
Suicide Squad.
Oh
Who's
god.
the team gonna be?
Like did
Well,
showed
Cobb
up out
showed
of
up,
9
but-
people I put in there.
You know what? I'm gonna say something. I've been watching a lot of TV lately. Peacemaker might be my favorite thing that's ever happened to the superhero genre.
Sorry.
Jake, it's a shame that you're not watching
It
it. I
is-
think of you every time I
It
watch it.
is.
Yeah, I'll never watch that. Shit.
Oh, you are missing
I think you're
out.
missing out. But
Yeah.
Jake,
Yeah,
it's so good. Hal, are you
It is.
watching it?
Yes.
Isn't it amazing?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
But if anything, it's a coherent story. Each week, more is being revealed, more pieces of the puzzle are coming together, and it's building up to a conclusion. I think Boba Fett kind of shot themselves in the foot a little bit because it was like, we got to put this team together, and we're gonna fight this threat's coming, and then the threat wasn't that cool, and then they gave us an hour of the Luke Skywalker power hour, and then you come back, and it's kind of hard. Like, I just felt disjointed. That's the only word I can keep coming up with. So there you go. There you go.
Mhm.
But I'm still optimistic though, Craig. Like I feel like this has set up things that make me care about Mando and Grogu and like that story that we started with for the first 2 seasons. Like I still feel invested in that. And they've set up with him not being a Mandalorian anymore. He's got to seek redemption now. He's got to figure himself out. And that's enticing. Like
you still believing in that Bantha Poodoo?
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, this is the way. I'm still into it, which, yeah, that was a great exchange.
It was
Again,
yeah.
the writing was there. Like it was perfect. You're still feeling like he believes in the doctrine of the whatever Mandos. So it's, I'm still optimistic. I feel like even though we've been pretty cynical and this has been a lot of fun to finally just vent about all the shit that's been in our heads, but I still feel like I feel like 2 things have happened. 1, I'm still very excited about Mando. And 2, I think that this has been a good learning experience because there's when you feel like Star Wars TV has figured itself out, they're still trying to figure it out, honestly. And so, Mando was a straight up Western fantasy. This, they tried to play with the genres a little bit. They tried to make it a Western fantasy with a little bit of a crime sort of gangster thing.
Mhm.
Like they were trying to imprint another genre upon Star Wars, which, is tough. Like it's already 2 mixed together, balanced genres, and it's kind of tough to figure out what to do with a third or a fourth wheel at that point.
I mean, there are times, Troy, where I don't even know why I like Star Wars. If someone's like, "Well, what about it do you like?" I'm like, "I don't know, just it's always been there, and I like it, and I like the people in it." Like,
Comfort food.
it's a fairy tale.
it is.
Yeah.
It's like a lasagna in the fall.
It's pizza,
it's
man.
still lasagna.
It's
cake.
pizza, and even a shitty pizza
Has baked cheese, and baked cheese is perfect.
No, but Troy, thank you. Troy, I agree with you. I think Star Wars live action TV is very much in its infancy. I think we all judge. I think we judge Star Wars on a different scale because the first three movies are so important to pop culture and society, and to the sci-fi genre, and to just the movies in general, and like all of our childhoods. Like there's a lot riding on Star Wars. So when it's good, it's like exhilarating. And when it lets you down, it can be very like disheartening because you don't want the thing you love to like let you down. It's like when you got a kid and he's just like a genuinely like a good kid. He's a good kid, gets good grades. And then like he like steals your car, like crashes into a mailbox. He does the one thing. You go, what are you doing? You're the good kid. You're Star Wars. You're supposed to be better than this.
Mm-hmm.
Troy, Hal, do you agree
putting
with
Star
Craig's
Wars
statement
on
as being the only two here with kids?
Well, my kid's not stolen a car yet, so I can't really
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm not
yeah,
quite
hold on.
there
yeah.
yet.
Jake, I love what Jake does. Is Jake's like, you put Star Wars too high.
Well,
I'm not.
no, I love Star Wars. Yeah, everything you just said, sure, about the original trilogy. But then after that, like, there's a lot of Star Wars out there. And there's a lot of amazing Star Wars. But at this point, we should all be, like, not surprised when Star Wars does something that's just, like, to continue your analogy of children, you shouldn't be surprised when you take a small child into at some point your child's going to freak out in a grocery store,
Right.
and Star Wars does that. It has
Well,
freakouts in a grocery store kind of often. So at this point, it's like
But
you gotta
everything
be
does
like,
too.
we got two amazing. Yeah, exactly. We got two.
I bet
amazing
Black
movies.
Chrysanthemum's had a couple freakouts at the grocery store.
Today.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
dogging
Jake, you're
out.
exactly right. Like we always think about, like, you know, Saturday Night Live, you look at the 45 plus years of that and you remember all of these awesome sketches and moments and personalities that were on the show. There are some really bad sketches. Like if you watch the first season of Saturday Night Live, there are some bombs.
Or the
When you
current season of Saturday Night Live.
But that's just exactly it. Like anything where you're getting that volume. I mean, I think Ryan, you and Kat were talking about it last week on the show, where it was like in Clone Wars, there were awesome episodes. And then there was like one kind of like, that was not so good, but you knew that better episodes were coming. And that's a great luxury to have, where we are now getting the frequency and the volume of Star Wars stuff that we cannot like an episode, but we know that a better episode is right around the corner, which is awesome.
I feel like SNL, Star Wars, and pro wrestling are always good in hindsight. Like looking back 7 or 8 years and you just looking at the stuff you liked. Like that's why WWE is really good at putting like highlight packages together that make you think that 2012 was the greatest year in pro wrestling. Or SNL, like Troy, you made a great point. If you go back and watch like full episodes of SNL from basically any season, think about the greatest casts. Like think about when it was like Farley and you know David
Sandler and Spade
Sandler.
and-
Like go watch a full episode. It's like they're like 3 for 10 every night.
Yeah,
And that's
even
just,
the best of Dan Aykroyd has some like stinkers. Honestly,
yes.
Wanna-
Have you heard about the
this
prequel
episode
he's
not
writing?
followed- Had this episode not followed the last 2 episodes, it would have been amazing.
Yeah.
But we're coming off
it
the last
should've-
2 episodes, and this episode's just not living up to the last 2 episodes.
Well, if this
Grading on a
episode was in the middle of the season, if
Yeah.
all this kind of happened in the middle and there was still some buildup, then yeah, sure.
If they would have not had Grogu, if they would have, we talked about this earlier. If Grogu was not in this episode, it wouldn't have really changed the episode very much. If they would have ended last week with not going back to him having to make that choice and made that the final scene of this year, we would all be having a much different conversation.
Oh, we'd be
Because-
having a meltdown.
cliffhanger.
Right,
Yeah.
because you have to like, this is marketing 101. leave them wanting more, get them hyped, get them excited about the possibilities.
Mhm.
The last scene of the Book of Boba Fett that we saw was them just kind of like, it was like this weird pan away from like, or not the last scene we saw, but the last scene we saw with the main cast was them. They're just standing in town and the
They're
camera's
having a
backing up.
laugh. It ended
Not-
with a freeze frame.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Like I literally thought it was gonna, but they're like they cut away. And Boba's like, "All right, well, I gotta go take a shit." Just like I just like it's just weird. Like
yeah.
it's just weird. Like I don't know, but
Yeah.
we are. Yeah,
Sorry,
Okay.
I was gonna say like I was kind of thinking at some point that the only reason, you know, I was wondering, I was like, well, why does Boba Fett care about Tatooine so much? You know, why is it his big deal to want to rule Tatooine? And then I was like, well, maybe it's for the Sand people, maybe it's for the Tuskens, right? Maybe he's doing all this to help them out. And then I was like, oh, so at the end of the show, he's gonna bring the maybe other Tuskens back in and be, you know, I did this for you, whatever. But then that just doesn't happen either. So I don't understand why Boba Fett gives a fuck about Tatooine.
he
Or
did
why
it
the
all for
mods
the
did, or
Tusken.
why Freetown
Yeah.
did, or why, like, yeah.
Yeah, his growth into being a likable guy was not
Listen,
enough.
we
I mean,
all-
he can go anywhere he wants.
Go through the whole-
He can go anywhere he wants. You know?
He's got a
Clearly, the
jetpack
town
and
could
a
have been
ship.
called Moss Asshole.
Listen, we all know Mos Eisley's the best part. It's the best Moss in Tatooine. Like, give me Pelimoto. Give me that. Just give me. I like the Cheers show that Jake had the idea for. Give me Cheers inside
Yeah.
the Mos Eisley Cantina. That's the show I want.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
Medical
listen.
dude comes walking in the door. Oh, it's the Sears. How's life as being a Sears exclusive? I have a blue suit and silver boots. This rules.
And I'm
I
a
would
little
love
bit
that.
smaller.
Hey, but like Frasier's still in it, just as Frasier.
No, we'd have Cliff still in there, but he's in his Hoth gear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Should have never closed that shield door.
Oh.
Sorry, princess.
By the way, Abby was watching. What was that thing you were watching earlier? It was like it's kind of like the Star Wars, like where's
National Geographic, the Earth Moods.
yeah, Earth Moods. But I'm such a dumb idiot. It was like Minnesota or
It's like
something. And I was
drone
like, oh, is that Hoth?
footage.
I asked if it was Hoth.
No, I think it's Antarctica.
I thought because I thought there's one on. Isn't there one on?
Biomes.
Yeah, biomes.
Yeah.
I thought it was
Yeah.
biomes. I
It's
want
the
to.
same premise.
They should put out more biomes from this season. It's just flat sand.
The Sons of Tatooine.
Freetown.
But it should go inside the Sarlacc.
Yeah.
Let us move our spice through, and you won't have any problems. I don't know. Weird show. 6 out of 10 with some really, really high moments,
Mhm.
really high
Sure.
spots. That's what
Sure.
I say.
Overall, I think that's fair. Like as a full season out of credits, I think I would probably give it 6 or 7.
Here's the weird thing, and I don't know if this struck any of you. What would happen? I would get really excited about watching it, and I'd really enjoy it. And usually, my first 5 to 10 minutes after every episode, where I was like kind of on a high, and then I really had no desire to rewatch it or even like think about it. Like it was there. I don't know.
Until 5 and 6. Like
Until 5 and 6,
I
right.
want to go back and rewatch those now. Like those are
Wh-
just solid episodes.
Which one was 5 again? Is that the one where Mando first comes back?
Mando comes back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like in the butcher shop and he
Yeah.
buys it out of that.
Oh,
dog.
right.
Armor.
The Bryce Dallas Howard episode and the Dave Filoni
When does
episode.
she get a movie?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
Well, hey, Hal, what character would you want her to direct?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But she understands Star Wars. It's very clear she grasps Star Wars,
Right.
can produce something that feels like you're watching a full movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's weird too, though. And Troy, maybe you could speak to this. I don't know how different it is for Star Wars, but like traditionally, TV episode directors it's kind of like you're not really doing a lot. You're just kind of there. It's like when Kevin Smith directed an
Exactly.
episode of Lois and Clark, or whatever.
Especially on the
Super
established shows, like shows that have been around for more than 3 or 4 seasons. Like you can bring a director in and the crew knows what they're doing, the cast knows what they're doing, and the director
Right.
comes in and puts their stamp on it. But yeah, I think Kevin Smith is a good analogy because he talked about going and directing Flash, and he's like, it was the easiest directing job I've ever had. Like, I just showed up, yelled action, and cut. And so
plus
yeah,
it's
TV's
Flash, so
different.
everything goes really fast.
Yeah, no.
But
Who?
these are different. Like these types of episodes, I think they're treating more like individual films. Like there's the overall like showrunner. You've got your Filonis and your Favreaus and Rodriguez's that are overseeing things. But I think they're really trusting the directors to come in and do their thing. Like when Kevin Tantron came in, he did episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and when he came in to do an episode on S.H.I.E.L.D., you always knew there was going to be some crazy badass single camera or single shot action scene because that's what he liked to do. And so they would tee that up. They knew he would be directing that episode. They'd write something into it and they would make it awesome. That's something that you have the luxury on a show that's in its 5th season and doing 22 episodes, and the writers can write to that director. And this, I think they treat a little bit more like doing small movies, I would imagine.
Right.
Yeah, John and Mitchell Brinkley both, brought up good points. That this is such a shorter. It's different because it's such a short season. And then Mitchell said, the directors on Mandalorian, they're all like collaborating together.
Yeah.
On set.
Yeah.
It's a different thing.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. And listen, this show's obviously successful, and Disney Plus has like more subscribers than I think the reports came out, like millions and millions more than they had projected or whatever. So it's like, I don't know how they can really how they gauge on whether or not this show continues is, do they have a story to tell? If they have a story worth telling, keep going, right? If not, maybe we just see Boba Fett popping up in Mandalorian. And
I think Boba Fett maybe works better like that, where he's just popping up here and there and being a part of the story when it needs him,
Yep. Fennec as well. Because I'd like to see more Fennec show up places for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. More of a
Right.
pop-in, less of like a mainstay.
But here's a problem. When Fennec hung that mayor, I didn't realize that was the mayor at first, because like they didn't really do a good job of establishing the mayor as like I knew Major Domo way more than the mayor.
Well,
The mayor's only in one scene.
Well, it felt like that scene where she goes in and kills everybody. It felt like they had done the entire episode, were editing it together, and they were like, "Oh fuck, we didn't get the head. We didn't get the head of the. We need to film something really quick." And and it's like that scene. Also, it's so much more ruthless than anything else in the show. Like the whole battle is just shooting faceless and nameless characters, and then there's this really intimate small room where she hung him. Like that's I was like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
That was awesome though.
It was, yeah, but
Seeing a Hammerhead get hung from
it felt
from the sunroof.
You also hear his neck crack. You hear it.
Yeah.
It felt out
So
of place for sure.
Just needed the little legs dangling.
Yeah. Fennec's like a fire spray. Hey, listen, I just came up with a new segment, and I want to do this real quick, and then we'll go to the chat for final questions, and we'll roundtable it. We'll get the hell out of here and go eat a pizza or something.
Okay.
Here's my new segment I'm just coming up with. I wish I had music and stuff. It's called
You're a
Star
little late.
Wars. It's called the Star Wars Stock Exchange. What I'm going to do is I'm going to name characters from the Book of Boba Fett, and you have to say whether or not you are buying or selling that character.
I like this.
As in, are you invested in their future? Do you think they're on the way up or maybe the way down? Welcome to Craig's first ever Star Wars Stock Exchange. Ding, 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 ding. Oh, look, they got Mark Hamill's ringing the bell. Okay, here we go. I don't know. Stocks, NFTs. I don't know.
Yeah.
So let's start off with an easy one. Black or Santan, round table. Are you buying or selling? If you want to add context, you can, but Troy Benjamin.
Sell.
Ryan.
Sell.
Jake.
I'm buying.
Jake's buying.
I'm buying optimistically.
Well, also it's a good investment because he's
that he could be better.
Well,
That's
you're buying him when
Hey, if it's strictly based on what I've seen, then I'm selling. But
okay. Abigail.
Sell.
Hal.
Sell.
Oh wow, cool.
That means I get him cheap.
Well, yeah. So that's what I'm actually trying to do. Is
Pennies.
I'm teaching
Pennies.
a finance class here. You buy him cheap. Next thing you know, he's kicking ass again, and you've got a valuable Wookiee. Okay. Fennec Shan, Troy Benjamin.
Hold.
You're holding.
I'm gonna hold what stocks they have.
Okay. Ryan Dole.
Buying.
Jake.
I'm gonna sell.
Abigail.
Buying.
Hal.
Bye.
Buying. All right.
Can I give some context to mine?
Yeah.
No.
Because I think we've learned something with the Book of Boba here is that it's like the shark in Jaws. The more mysterious she is, the more badass she is.
Yeah.
That's why I'm buying.
All right. Here we go. A
Okay.
couple more. This is fun. Pelimoto. Troy Benjamin.
Buy. All the
Buy.
stocks.
Ryan.
To the moon.
Buy. Yeah, all the stocks. She's my
Jake?
GameStop.
I'll buy, but I don't need too much. I'll buy, but she's on the
Jake
sideline.
shares.
I
I'll
have one share to
Take
be a
my money.
shareholder.
Hal Clay.
Sell.
Selling. Okay.
How?
Yeah.
She's the most annoying character out of Mando in this series.
She's a little annoying. She's a little annoying. She can be a little annoying, but otherwise she's great.
Endearing.
We're fighting.
What do you mean you're selling me?
Taking the shirt off.
All right. Two more. Let's do Boba Fett. This is the big one.
Ooh.
Troy Benjamin.
Sell.
Selling. Oh,
No, again, for the same reasons I say to hold on Fennec. Like again, I think Boba will be better served if we put him back into the shadows. I think somebody said in the chat, which I totally agree upon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Dole.
Cautiously buying.
Cautiously buying. Okay. Jacob Walsh.
I'm selling Boba Fett. I'm selling him cheap. You will sell him cheap?
Get rid of him. All right. Hal Clay.
I don't know. Sell.
Selling. Wow. Boba Fett finally gets his own show after 40 years. Everyone's like,
Well, he
Agent
come-
Quick, don't buy Boba.
Does he come with a Rancor? Because I'm definitely buying if he has.
No.
No, I'll buy the Rancor.
We're all buying the Rancor.
Nobody bought the Rancor. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Finally, this is all the circuitous plan for me to get people to buy the Rancor. You know, you would think from a marketing perspective, if you're going to launch a HasLab campaign with a Rancor, you'd wait till you see a Rancor on the current media to get people excited about Rancors. But hey, I don't work for Hasbro. I
I have an idea, but I'm going to get into that as I tease the state of Star Wars.
We're going to do it
So,
soon. It's going to
we
do
are
it
gonna
soon.
do it
We're going to have
soon,
we got a lot to talk about.
It's
Well, that was fun.
going to be like Festivus. We're going to air some grievances.
The
And
airing
then one of us
the-
has to fight the head of the table.
the feats of strength. I
Feats
love
of strength.
this. Well, listen, that was fun. I like doing the buy sell. Well, it was a fun segment. I've had so much fun doing this show with you guys. I really value everybody's opinions. I value the time hanging out with friends, and I love the chat. If anybody wants us to touch on anything, any final questions, rapid
You
fire,
guys could all touch the like button and the subscribe button if you
Please.
enjoyed this. That would be great.
we all talk about it, but if you do like YHS and you like what we do here, hit the like button on this video. Helps us a lot. And if we can get 200 likes on this video, we will do a live toy award show this Tuesday night on YouTube, and we'll call it the Jeffries.
If you're lucky.
if you're lucky,
You got to be good though.
You got to be real good.
See, now I feel like you have kids. This seems like a thing you do with kids.
Yeah.
I watch Geek
Clock is
Dad.
ticking today.
No. I watch Geek Dad live streams and I steal all the stuff he says. He's really good at YouTube. I can't even get the theme song to play at the right time. I don't know what I'm doing. Flash asks, did Fennec want to run the spice trade? Listen, I think she's all about that money. I don't think she would have turned it down. I don't think she cares about anything but,
Herself.
money and power and hanging
Yeah.
folks.
I think she
agree.
definitely wanted money, and I think she wanted Boba to be a little harder because even she calls him soft. Everyone actually called Boba soft when we think
Yeah.
about it,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
So
So
we saw how soft he was when he was slipping around like that scene. It
Like
looks
a
like
fucking wet hot dog.
it looks like
Yeah.
like a physical challenge from Double Dare. You know, somebody put the Double Dare music on that scene. Ba-da-da. Da-da-da.
like a
Mark Taylor.
Japanese game show when they're
Hey, we
all
got the
looped up trying to climb the
flag.
stairs.
Yeah.
Somebody please put super
Oh my
sloppy
God.
Double Dare music on
That-
that scene.
I think I'm right there with him on that, because I was like, when Boba agreed to, like, yeah, we don't need spice, get rid of the spice, and Fennec goes, but that was Jabba's main business. The subtext there is, what kind of crime boss are you going to be if you're not doing crime? Like, I don't.
Yeah, he's
again,
not a
the whole-
crime boss.
Yeah.
He's just a
He's
happy
like
mayor.
the homeowners association boss.
Which
Not
is
that
worse.
cool. How cool?
Selling
What,
timeshares on Mount Zaspa.
how cool would it, what if Fennec Shan? What the last scene was her like sneaking into his while he was asleep, and like slitting Jabba's throat. Not Jabba, Boba.
Boba.
Yeah.
That's dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Like
And
the
putting on
long
his
con.
I would have been into that.
yeah, putting on
God,
his helmet.
someone get
She's
cricket.
like 0 credits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sell.
All right. Well, let's round table it. Abigail Gardner, let me get your final thoughts on the Book of Boba Fett. Sum it all up in about 9 seconds.
I can't. I don't think they could, honestly. I think that this show had trouble summing everything up by the end of it. It was just a strange flow. There were some really good moments, some like really iconic things that I'll never forget. Emotional moments watching Grogu and Luke train and seeing the Mandalorian getting a new ship. But none of those things really involved Boba Fett, and it was honestly just I felt conflicted, and like I needed to have a group therapy session after finishing this, because I watched it 3 times and I was like, maybe it will be good, maybe it will be consistent in
Hey,
some like
I'm
still
we've all been
confused.
we've all
The
been
old classic,
Yeah,
watch it
PTSD.
until you like it.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
Yeah, I
This
wanted-
time.
check in on everyone, make sure we're all okay with the rewatch of this. It's just not hitting. This whole season was just not landing.
I
as
know
much
Mos
as I wanted
Espa.
to. Yeah.
Listen, we haven't even talked about the one thing. They added lyrics to the song. I didn't like it. Sounded
Boba,
stupid.
Boba Fett.
It sounded like I made it. Literally sounded like I wrote it.
Boba Fett.
It sounded like I wrote it. I think what's going to happen is in a couple years when we think back, we're all going to remember the Luke episode and go, "What season of Mandalorian was that?" Like, oh, that was Book of Boba. Oh, remember Book of Boba Fett? Hal Clay, do you have any final thoughts?
Overall, it was good.
Thank you.
Good episodes, and the ones I hated sucked.
Yeah,
You know, but I just don't have to watch those. I can just watch the good ones.
I love that.
There you
The
go.
ones I hated sucked.
There you go.
Opinions.
Oh, man. Opinions are like Jawas. Everybody's
They're
got
furry.
one, and Kelly Moto's got a couple. I'm filtering through things I shouldn't say live on the air, and we're done. Okay. Ryan Dole.
Yeah, it was good. I would watch a second. I would give a second season a shot if I don't know. I hate talking shit about directors because these shows are not easy to do and
hard.
or
No,
put
no,
together,
no.
especially when you've got high end clients like Disney and Lucasfilm and stuff. That shit's not easy. So I know how sometimes I've seen it myself. I've seen good projects fall through into bad ones, and it's that I hate saying it, but maybe they just need some. Maybe if they had a different director or different whatever the case, I don't know. Just I would give it a shot. Let's just say that. And I would try to go into the second season with a very open mind.
You know, my issue that I've been having is like they just there's this pre-order now for the throne room playset with Bib Fortuna. It's amazing.
And a
It's-
dish set. It's great. I love
it's
it.
such a cool playset. It's very expensive, but like it's the kind of thing that like vintage collection Star Wars fans have been asking and begging for. Like you want to see a bunch of happy Star Wars collectors. Yesterday was the day, or Wednesday, whatever that was. But then I was like, oh, I'm gonna get that. I want to fill it up with all the characters from Book of Boba Fett. I'll get Boba Fett and Mandalorian. And then I'm like, who was on this show? Like, I guess nobody. Who was
Max
in the
Rebo?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Hmm.
Like, I don't know. So,
I-
anyways,
I pre-ordered it, but
oh.
again, we'll get into that in another show.
Oh, I pre-ordered it. So watch out, Mr. Mailman, in November
In September of
2023.
2023. You just watch out.
You better watch out. It's gonna be heavy, probably. Jake, final thoughts.
It's a confusing show. There were a few like really high highs and then a bunch of really weird lows. I'm coming out of it like I think I liked more than I hated. There was some cool stuff, some dumb stuff. I almost feel like I could take it or leave it. Other than the 2 episodes that don't have the 2 episodes that don't have Boba Fett at all are out. I think were outstanding. Like great pieces of media. And I don't think that's because Boba Fett's not in them. They're just, it's a weird choice to throw those 2 episodes in the middle of a completely different show, and I'll never understand that. So I don't know. I'm good. I'm good. Like setting Boba Fett aside for a while.
I mean, it's clear.
Or
Listen,
forever, and just moving on to something else.
It's clear. Listen, remember last year there was all those rumors. There's going to be a Book of Boba Fett, or is it, no, there's going to be a Boba Fett show, and everyone's like, "No, there's not." Disney just announced 40 new Star Wars things, and Boba Fett wasn't one of them. Like, no, there's going to be a Boba Fett show. It's shooting right now, and everyone's like, "There's no way it's shooting right now." And then it was like, "Whoa, there is a Boba Fett show, and it's shooting right now." And then people like Jennifer Beals came out and go, "I thought I was making season 3 of The Mandalorian." Ha ha ha!
Yeah.
Something happened somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah, they
Something
were
happened.
making season 3 of The Mandalorian.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, we were going to get season 3 of The Mandalorian, and there was going to be 3 episodes The Mandalorian wasn't in. That's what it was. All right, Troy Benjamin, you're going to close us out. Final thoughts.
Oh man, pressure. Yeah, I mean, I'm ending on optimism. Like there were things that I liked, and to Jake's point, like I'm gonna hold on to those things that I liked within this show because they were high highs, and I really enjoyed those moments. And I'm optimistic because I think that this was a great learning experience for everybody. I mean, just to give them some data and some knowledge of like, okay, if we try to do a show like this, how does it work? Because once we get to Andor, it might be a different show now. They have some time to go back and kind of rethink things. And maybe if we lean more on the espionage and less on this, like, I think that's good. I think it's going to benefit things in the long run. But I don't know. I was desperately trying to find it. A friend sent me this thing, and I apologize. I can't credit it to the person that it was, but they said the show is called The Book of Boba Fett because this is what Boba Fett has done for all of these characters that you've seen. Luke Skywalker would not be Luke Skywalker if Boba Fett had not encountered him and frozen Han Solo and taken him in the carbonite to Jabba the Hutt. And Boba Fett or Cobb Vanth would not be the Marshal if, Boba Fett hadn't given him the armor and all of these things. Like he had logic and reasoning for all of the characters in Book of Boba Fett being affected by Boba Fett. And I looked at that and I was like, man, that is solid. I wish that was the show that I saw. Like I wish that was a tangible thing that I could hold and not have to kind of pull at those strings and find. So, I don't know.
I mean, if that was the show, if it was like every episode's going to focus on a new character and how Boba Fett is an important piece of their puzzle, like, yeah, that sounds cool. But I don't know if that's what we watched.
And maybe that was the conceit. Yeah. But also, since I'm bringing things home, I do want to say that weekly, it is the highlight of my week to come and just chat with you all about this, because it's like there are so many things when you're watching these episodes that just rattle around inside your brain. And for the people that don't want to live tweet and talk about things on social media, like you sit and you stew on it. And then when we come to sit down on Friday, I feel like I can just go, here's everything, guys. And so it's, I enjoy everybody's opinions, and I love that we can debate things.
I love that we can. I love that we have different opinions too. Like we're across the board. I think we're actually all pretty fair too.
Yeah, I mean, none of us, like, listen, We all want to like Star Wars. We all have a deep affection for it. And when it lets us down a little bit, like that's okay. Like we can it's like any of our fandoms, whether it's Ghostbusters or Star Wars or the new Jurassic World trailer's out and like we all have opinions about it. Like
Padme's still Padme at the end of the day, guys. We're okay.
Yeah, and I'd still rather be
day.
dreaming of Padme.
Septimus Prime says, I missed the whole thing. Started over. Gladly. So
Okay.
anyways, let's unpack this episode.
Roll that theme song again. Give me the theme song.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Can we just go off the air?
So here's the deal.
Santan running away.
Thank you everybody for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video here. If you enjoy what you see on YHS, tell a friend. We've got a lot going on. We do have the Jeffries live on YouTube this Tuesday. It's going to be a ton of fun. Really excited about that. And then, stay tuned for any and all announcements. We do Toy Anxiety live every Tuesday night, which is our toy and action figure roundtable. And that's a ton of fun. And we love seeing the YHS community continue to grow. And we have so much fun. The chat is amazing as always. One thing I will say, May 25th, it has been announced officially. Obi-Wan Kenobi is the full name of the show. It's not just Kenobi, it's Obi-Wan Kenobi. They didn't go with my my title, which was Sandy Ben Kenobi.
Oh,
Old Sandy Ben.
Didn't workshop that joke, huh?
Let me
Highs
try.
and lows in this episode.
Hey, let me try.
too.
Let me try a couple others. Hold on. Other titles they considered were Benny and the. Okay. Anyways,
Craig, don't worry. I'm just going to hold on a wide shot and watch you flounder for about 15 to 20 seconds, and then I'll cut away from you. Okay.
Obi-Wan Kenobi starting in May. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
by the way, we're all going to be at some of us, most of us,
At Troy's
all of
house?
us, we're going to be at Troy's
We don't
house
know.
doing it.
Cool
'Cause we're all
runnings.
going to be in
Yeah.
town for celebration.
Yeah, we're gonna have
Maybe.
some fun. Yeah, hopefully.
There's no maybe, only Zool. You're all going to be there.
Yeah, I think you're the only one who has tickets to Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
listen, we started last week. If you have a good idea for the name, that's actually funny. See, there it is.
Benny and the Fets.
Benny and the Fets.
Damn it.
We
Good one,
will
Ray.
we will be doing these again. We like doing these live streams where we recap everything. For Abigail Gardner, Jacob Walsh, Ryan Dole, Hal Clay, and of course Troy Benjamin. Please have a wonderful weekend. Please be safe. Please do whatever you can to buy a toy, read a book, watch a movie, have some fun, make some chainmail shirts for your Grogus, and everybody will see you very soon.
Mhm.
This has been a blast. My name is Craig Goldberg, signing off one last time. The Book of Boba Fett. Boba
Yeah.
Book Club.
Music?
I
Yes.
There it is. By the way, we still have pins. YHSpodcast.bigcartel.com.
Yeah, but now that the show's over, the price is going up.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't you love the show? Wouldn't you love the pin?
$5 for $1.
Now they're vintage.
They're old now.
Yeah.
Bin 'em.
Only 2 left.
Bye,
One's next to
everybody.
me.
With respect.
How does the chainmail go over his ears?
I know. Is
Okay.
it elastic?
Tattooing strong.